with our retired veterans, Mr. Graham, you asked me a question not too long ago, on my viewpoint or our viewpoint on the world situation right now. Me personally, I think there's maybe a lot of conspiracy and secrecy going on. Of course, in where ISIS is taking over there now and whatever. I think there's a lot of things that we don't know that we ought to know, and I really I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
Well, I think that democracy is still being attacked, and the efforts that was put forward by all the brave soldiers in years past who fought for freedom and democracy, that fight still continues. And that the ISIS group is actually doing that, attacking freedom and democracy, and it rears its head in a different way. I don't know. I think people just hunger for war, and it's just a costly thing that costs a lot of lives and costs a lot of money. We could be so much better off if we investment in meaningful ways. But then again, the defense of democracy is very important. So without that freedom, we wouldn't be on the mic today. We would probably be on the ground if the enemies that fought against freedom and democracy was victorious. We would have a whole different scenario here in the Cayman Islands for sure.
Exactly. So how different do you think the world would be if the wars you guys fought in were won by the enemy?
They're won by
The enemy.
I don't know, I'd still be fighting.
I suppose the thinking was actually in the Second World War if Britain and the Commonwealth to start with lost it, we'd all be speaking German. But that is the way it goes. But the cooperation between the UK and Germany now is very, very good. And the harmony which is in Europe generally hopefully will ensure that there aren't any wars in Europe.
I think so. I served in the Joint Special Operations Task Force, Task Force 21, and that was made up of Germans. We had some French in there with us. People from Latvia, a lot of the Eastern Bloc countries. They committed troops to assist in all various areas. Not all were direct action like us, but support units as well. So it was something to see. I mean, the Germans fought in Afghanistan quite well, and were among the toughest troops in data at the time.
The Germans. You guys learn how to speak German? You learn how to speak German?
I served a couple of years in Germany.
Yeah.
One of the best times in my Air Force career when I was actually stationed in Germany, very close to the East German and Russian border. They were good people. But the thing is actually that the man in the street in England, Scotland, or wherever, in the British forces, or up in Canada, Australians who were involved on the British side, the man in the street was very, very similar to the man in the street from Germany. It was only a small percentage who were wild and doing actually all the evil things which we heard about, the Holocaust and everything else. The numbers of it was just wars are actually incomprehensible. But we talk about the way in which the Germans actually were bombing London and other cities in the UK. I went back by train through the area actually where the Brits and the Americans were actually bombing Germany. And I was on the train for about 3 hours before we saw one brick on top of another. It was absolutely perfect. It really was.
I think that a lot of the European countries are getting disillusioned with the European community. Even England is backing off of a lot of the commitments it's had. And the Prime Minister is trying to change a lot of of the agreements and relationships that they have, because Germany is a dominant country in that community. It's rising to the top all the time. And today, there's other kind of wars going on, little ones.
A lot of diplomacy.
It's all over the world. These groups are popping up. It's causing a lot of trouble in the world. The Muslims. And what are going to? I understand there was even a plot to kill the Queen on Memorial Day. That it was foul. You get somebody to emigrate to your country, and then come there and want to kill off all your leaders, and say they're going to put a dome over Buckingham Palace and make it a mosque. Come on. They should integrate themselves and enjoy the freedom they have there.
Well, before we wrap up, we have a notice to be read, and then we get into our final comments.
The Cayman Islands Seafarers Association will be holding their annual Christmas party and raffle on December 6th. Tickets cost $10 and can be bought in the Seafarers office in Prospect or from any member. First prize is CI $8,000, second prize $3,000, plus there are many other prizes. For more information, call 947-7378. 947-7378.
Well, guys, it's been an honor having you guys on the show. Thank you for do you guys have any final comments or shout-outs? Anything you want to say?
Well, I would like to thank you for having us. And I listen to your program every once in a while, and I think it's a very good thing you're doing to reach out to the young people of this country. And I would like to see more of the young people getting involved in the military to learn some discipline, which they're probably not getting at home. And I know what it did for me at 16 years old, and I can tell you a lot of benefits in going in a military organization. You can go to the States and join the U.S. military. When I went up there, I had to register for the draft, and I didn't have a green card or American passport. I paid tax. And my mailing address was in San Diego, California, where I had relatives for the draft board. And I was in New York in 1950 out of work. And I contacted my cousins. And it says I got an order here from the Army for you the war was on in Korea, to report to the draft board, to the Army for a physical induction in the Army. And I never got it for a long time. And the next time I got another one, was an order from President Truman to report to the Marine base in San Diego for induction in the Marines. And I was in New York without any money on the beach. So I went up to the draft board, and the sergeant took me to see the commanding officer, and I explained to him I was a veteran from World War II, and he gave me a deferment of 4F. So, but I wound up going out, there was 3 wars going on, and I wound up out there for 3 years. Korea, the French was fighting Indochina, they called it at the time, which was Vietnam, and the British was fighting in Malaysia. The warships were laying off the coast, they were bombarding the jungle, and I went right by the stern of them while it was going on.
What we're trying to do at the present time is actually increase the exposure of the veterans in the Caymanian community. The more we are exposed, more people see us, it will help us a great deal. Reminding us of the main purpose of the veterans is not to go and have a beer swilling sort of chat in the evenings. It's actually getting out to the people who need our help, love, care and assistance. That is our prime object of the veterans, and anything we can do to encourage that is a good thing. To see it actually in the press, and on Radio Cayman and on the TV, to see what we're doing and trying to help. When I first came onto the island 28 years ago, I think there was about 150 people who were in the veterans. We're sadly down to about 60.
They're all dying
Many
off.
of them are gone up and no longer with us. But we need to get, and there are people actually who have served their country living in Cayman who ought to come and say, right, can I have an application form to join? It's free.
Retired Senior Sergeant. Any final comments?
Just like to thank you, Jamo, for having us, and like to commend you guys on you and the whole team on a good job you guys do. I try to listen every now and then to hear you guys, and I get a kick, and it really makes me proud to hear your minds doing the things that when I was young, I mean, it used to be hard for us to get into this. I mean, I remember when I first started up, as you know, it used to be hard to get kids.
You're not kids on that.
No kids at all. It's great to hear, get you that exposure enough so you'll be even better. And yeah, I encourage young people to get involved in the military. The Cadet Corps is a great program that they have too. Like to give them up to for all the assistance that they give us. They give us assistance every year at the gala. They come and do all our escorts for us and really do a great job every time. So thank you very much.
And quick shout outs because we go on over there.
Shout out Moment, shout out Kim Brock, shout out Uflex, shout out Kim, shout out Jamo.
Heard on Youth Flex today was host Jacob and co-host Trey in Lashana, along with veterans retired Corporal Bob Soto, retired Senior Sergeant Sheen Bothwell, and retired Lieutenant Graham Walk. News and highlights were done by Tamia Ebanks and Lashana Lopez Francis. Sound and board was done by Mr. Will Sinatra. The music was selected by Mia and Lashana, and we threw in War there because it just made sense. The video team was Trey and Tamia. And we thank you all for joining us this Wednesday, and we'll be on again next Wednesday. It's Uflex broadcast its third show in the season of Direction. Until then, this is Jamo saying, keep your chin up and God bless.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you guys again.
Thank
Well, I
you.
enjoyed your leadership on that. It's very, very good. You ought to join the military.
I can you to get yourself a moment.
Yeah, man.
I'd consider it.
Yeah, because I just put some pressure on this course.
What was it you read out? Because I was deaf, I couldn't quite get it.
What are you talking about?